So that last episode, huh? What a way to end it. I mean, Jesus. Straight up trying to kill statues, man. Going on a rampage. So yeah, I'm growing concerned more and more that, this guy's bad news and he's going to try and kill Senku and the Big Oaf.
I don't really think he'll try to kill him. But I think he's more or less, they're going to have conflicting ideologies. Yeah, beat my word.
Yeah,
beat me to the word.
Well, it's people.
English.
Well, people will always have conflicting ideologies as long as there are two minds that think differently. I mean, we're not all hive minds. Here.
They're already way past caveman days. One, they have language. All right,
yes.
They know how to write and read. They know how to count. They know like tons of science. At least one person's brain capacity of science, and the other ones have common sense. So survival traits are already above average. Still don't have too much advantage over lions, though.
Well, no. I mean, in the natural world, in the Stone Age, you look at civilizations throughout history. In the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, you look at all the way, the Dark Ages, Mongol conquests and all that. You had, like, pieces and parts of civilizations here and there. But then you have the Industrial Age. When the Industrial Age happened, that's when you started seeing these huge, massive cities filled with people coming there for one unified purpose.
The inflation of currency, and then soon came the Industrial Revolution.
Yes.
And then came...
Well, we're not quite to a... they're saying that the next step after that will be the space-faring stage. And then after that, the post-singularity generation. But
they got a ways to go for that, though.
Well, yeah, I mean...
So this is rebuilding society from a total different angle than like the history society of caveman and evolution.
As humanity evolved over time, it went up at a very steady slope, and then when the Industrial Age hit, very heavy incline. Whereas here, they're trying to start out the Stone Age and go straight up into the Industrial Age. Because
they're not stabbing in the dark like humanity was when they first existed. So
no, they have the basic knowledge and know-how.
Here, try these berries. It might kill you. It might taste good.
Right.
It's like they're shiny berries. There's no way they could be bad. Gobble.
They don't have to sacrifice Jub to find out if those berries are safe to eat or not.
Yeah.
True. Like, don't eat the red berries.
Yeah. It's like, what'll happen if you eat the red berries? You will literally poop until your guts come out. Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay, I won't do that then. Nope. So, yeah. Needless to say, we're in the midst of, they're in the midst of trying to bring the world back to where it was. And this new dude, Tsukasa, seems to have a different ideology compared to them. So, let's see what happens as we continue this journey with Dr. Stone. Here we go.
So no matter what, I have to stay tight-lipped about the miracle fluid in the cave.
Hey! Awesome news, you guys! Check this out, you see? I got a whole pot full of miracle fluid from the cave! And that means we can use this stuff to finally bring back Yuzuriha!
You idiot.
That facial expression.
What's the miracle fluid you're talking about?
Weapons of science.
Okay, Yuzuriha. I promised we'd save
Wow,
you.
he tailored her a brand new outfit.
Yeah, okay. No need to explain. It's cool. I trust you to make the right decision. Something happened while I was gone, huh?
You're right. Shishio Tsukasa is an awesome guy. Who happens to be a murderer.
Shit.
Yuzuriha,
Well,
sorry to keep
I
you
guess
waiting,
that solves that.
but I'm here. Just like I said.
The stone shell acts as a protective coating made from trace metals in the body. An unknown process caused them to phase shift, and they took on a petrified state.
You lost me, Senku! It's so complicated!
That's
Not
my
that
theory,
complicated.
based on an entire year of painstaking experiments.
Catch her, you big oaf.
Yuzuriha! Come on, man! obviously we'll stay and fight by your side. I mean, really, what kind of people do you think we are?
I have no clue what's going on, but I'll help whoever I can.
I'm not making any assumptions or trying to be nice. It just seems logical to give you the chance to plead.
Listen, Senku, if Tsukasa is killing people, we've got no
So I'm
choice.
killing people. Huh. I'd say that's a matter of perspective. I call it culling them. For the benefit of the new world.
Oh boy. Delusions of grandeur. Believe you're doing it for the greater
Trying
good.
to hide his murderous intentions in front of them.
Now I've got no choice but to bust out my secret weapon.
Crossbow. Thought that's what he was building last episode.
Crossbow!
By shooting at him now, I can at least break up their fight.
Woo! Ow. I think my hands broke.
Nobody has ever taken one of my kicks full force and remained standing before.
You can hit me or kick me or whatever the hell you want to do. But I'm telling you, you gotta stop breaking those statues! Because killing is wrong! End of story!
Wow.
He's up for handling that shit though.
Caillou. If you insist on getting in my way,
I don't care how many times you want to come at me, I'm not gonna stop trying to stop you!
that girl you just revived. What if I told you I'd kill her instead?
You didn't get it now. This is why Senku was telling us to run away before.
Uh-oh.
The fuck?
He got hit.
Seems it did hurt him. He's bleeding like a stuck pig. We're gonna hunt for materials to make weapons, starting at Hakone. Just think of it as a big 80-kilometer adventure.
Yeah, what do they do if they get attacked by more lions, though?
Full marathons. We can knock it out in 5 hours.
Maybe a freak of nature like you can.
You still have that crossbow with arrows?
Think so.
Doesn't seem different somehow.
35 degrees, 19 minutes north. 139 degrees, 32 minutes east.
A Buddhist statue stands the test of time. If humanity wouldn't have gone, wouldn't have been like knocked out. Imagine if people were still around and came across that. They would praise that thing as a god and get everything literally wrong about what Buddha actually stood for.
Hey, what's wrong, Yuzuriha? Did someone make you cry? Was it me?
You idiot.
It's not that kind of crying. I thought about my mom, and my dad, and everyone else. And I just...
Yeah, that would. Yeah, reality of that would set in.
Come on, there's nothing to worry about. It's time to give my crappy sexton an upgrade. I just need some of this.
Stop! That is like so wrong!
Oh, come on. Given a dire situation like this, I think even Buddha would understand. Come on.
I wonder if there's any explanation as to why they all have weird marks on them, or if
I've noticed
just
that
a character
too.
designer
You know,
choice.
like the
Asking.
eyes.
It was
Maybe-
like that before the event, so
yeah.
Was it?
yeah.
She even has like a little like tattoo swirly
I
thing
don't
on her
know.
arm
I
and
don't
stuff.
think they had those before.
I mean, I could be wrong. But
I
I'm pretty sure
don't-
they did, because I remember him, the science one. He always had that cool looking.
Yeah, I was thinking he had those little eye streaks.
Like we'll go back. I'll go back to the first episode and we'll see.
Yeah.
Feels like the pain is finally starting to go away.
Whoa! Does the revival fluid have some kind of healing power too?
Well, that would be amazing. It's just cracks filling in. Another part of the depetrification process. I mean, we're still alive, even with these cracks in our faces.
Ah,
Oh,
it explained it right
cracks.
there.
That's true. So let's keep going, shall we? Soon we can soak in some real rejuvenation fluid.
I just remembered something that's in Hakone!
Hot Springs. Wouldn't be an anime if there wasn't a Hot Springs episode.
I've never been to a hot spring.
Oh, dude, I've been to one. Very nice.
Oh, just one of the greatest inventions in human history.
Smartphones?
You do love your smartphones. Wrong. The gun. We're gonna make some gunpowder.
Oh ho ho!
The Stone Age was 2 million years ago. Gunpowder was invented fairly recently in comparison, about 700 AD. Basically, we're gonna warp ahead. 1,998,700 years. A giant leap in civilization. Time to get excited, you guys.
Cavemen with guns.
If they make gunpowder, I don't stand a chance. Senku can do it. So I have to stop him before that happens.
Lucky for us, Japan is full of volcanoes. Go to any hot spring and there's a plethora of sulfur just waiting to be taken.
Sulfur and calcium carbonate. Ah.
We're about to create our ultimate weapon against Tsukasa. Some black powder should do the trick just fine.
Sulfur and calcium carbonate. You combine the two, and I think it makes one of the primary ingredients that's in black powder. It's in gunpowder.
Kind of what I was thinking, and that's
Okay.
like I said after we finished watching that episode. We didn't say it on the last reaction, but I was like, that fourth use. I wonder if he didn't say it out loud because he's planning to use it as some sort of contingency
Deterrent against
Tsukasa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it could be something he could weaponize potentially.
Yeah, and the fact they brought back Yuzahira, is that her name? The girl?
I can't remember.
Yuzahira, I think's her name.
So they brought her back, and she's not insane. So.
No, she's not. So apparently, if it might it might function the same way as you going to sleep, because human beings naturally have gaps in our consciousness. You see, we are only aware while we are awake. That's actually an uncomfortable idea that someone proposed, that secretly we die while we're asleep in terms of our consciousness. And then once we wake up, our consciousness comes right back. It's the same thing with the Star Trek instant transporter. Your body literally gets broken down to the quark, and it zips you across space faster than the speed of light. But here's the issue with that. In the show, in Star Trek, it's shown that that sometimes it splits people into two, sometimes it combines people together, which it's very weird. And they're saying that the transporter is actually a death box, because what it does is effectively it breaks down your normal body that you have on this conscious plane, and then a new creature complete with all your memories and coming into consciousness with all your memories and everything, all of a sudden appears on a new planet.
Yeah, I remember reading about that, and basically time travel theory.
Yeah.
Basically all that. And they basically say pretty much you'll die eventually if you do it enough. And basically, if you do it enough, essentially you're not yourself at all. Stuff will change.
And gaps in consciousness. And here's another thing too. Because we can only perceive our own consciousness, we have no idea if the people around us are also conscious. I forget how he explained it. We're aware of our own consciousness, but not anyone else's, and everyone else may potentially be like a cyborg or a robot. That would be a scary thought as well, because
what if I'm a cyborg now?
What if? Exactly. What if I'm a cyborg?
I mean, I feel like the people who have murdered other people and seen their insides and shit are pretty confident that other people were conscious at one point.
Yes, yeah, I would bet that too. It's just the idea of going around and being in a normal everyday scenario with people. It's just is everybody secretly a robot? Because I keep seeing people doing the exact same thing over and over and over again.
Greetings,
NPCs,
fellow humans.
Yes.
But basically, I kind of feel like they are actually doing a lot of things in this show for specific reasons. And therefore, because, especially, I mentioned it, I was like, I wonder what's up with the weird eye lines and stuff. And then I realized they were cracks because they actually explained it a couple seconds later.
Yeah.
I don't believe that those two had the same experience while in their stone forms as everyone else did.
Senku and Ryuji.
She was like, it was like I was asleep for forever, but they were definitely like fully aware the entire time.
They were conscious.
It never said how the science guy woke up.
We haven't seen
the other
that.
one did because of the cave.
Well, and just like without like telling you exactly what we were talking about, just in case you don't want to know exactly, but Matt was basically telling me that there were some other things that we've seen so far that will be explained later. And he's like, "Did you think about why this happened?" And I was like, "No, I didn't really think about that actually." And he's like, "Yeah, you found out about that kind of stuff and everything too." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I think this is actually going to give us a lot of answers to questions we haven't even really thought to ask yet. And
I like how the show is. I mean,
so
it
seems like it's being very
deep, but it's going very slow at revealing the answers.
Yeah.
Well, which I like though. I mean, that's what makes a good episodic series. If it gives it all away at once, then you're gonna be nothing to look forward to.
What I'm wondering is how he's planning to build a gun with just gunpowder and no like iron or anything.
Well, if anything, he might not be looking at doing a gun, but instead an explosive of some kind. Because
I think that would be a lot easier.
Because where they can make and mold clay, clay thing, stuff have clay.
Like a claymore.
Well, yeah, but yeah, that'd be awesome. But imagine, if you will, he makes a circular clay pot, and then at the top of it, he has a little pot, a little pit where he can dip a fuse in or something like that, or he can drop a flame on top of it and then it'll explode. Yeah. Now imagine that. Imagine something like that happening, and he's running away from Tsukasa, and then he drops the torch. Like for instance, like he corners him at a tree, and it's and Tsukasa is approaching him with a knife. Then all of a sudden Senku puts his torch out, like trying to keep him away, and then right as Tsukasa is where Tsukasa is where Senku wants him to be. He drops that torch. Boom, Tsukasa's down for the count. Of course, Tsukasa might see it coming because Tsukasa seems to have like a pretty decent logical mind.
Yeah, he seems to be pretty smart. So he's not just animalistic. He's also very tactful. And
yeah, he
seems like a pretty devastating opponent.
Well, in terms of like physicality, he's the alpha. Yeah. In terms of like raw physicality, he's the alpha. But in terms of mentality, Senku is obviously the smartest. Obviously, but the tenacity and cunning, I think Tsukasa might have an advantage there, because I think Tsukasa, where he's already built up in his mind what I'm doing is right. In conflicts, everyone on every side always believes that they're right. Mm-hmm. And that's how it's always been. And I'm thinking that that's what's going to happen with him. He's going to think, I'm right, everyone else is wrong, adults need to die. And I think eventually he's going to find out, maybe I'm not right. I hope he does, at least. I mean, there is a whole moral standpoint that he is killing people in spite of them being statues. They are potential. I don't mean to drag in like a modern day argument, but it's a lot. This could in some ways be seen as an abortion, like similar to the abortion argument. Are the stone people like potential lives that can be brought back, or are they dispensable? That brings up an interesting quandary there for me.
I mean, I'm not gonna say there's certain people that I would or would not bring back.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. Yeah. But that's the thing of choice. People choose that.
That and abortion is a little different.
Well, no, it is different, but the quandary of like a potential, because keep in mind, Tsukasa, I guarantee you, did not know any of those adults that he killed. The only one that he knew was the one that he knocked the head off of.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the only one that he knew, that he's known so far.
Yeah, see, at that point, I didn't think he was crazy. I figured he was just, okay, well, fuck that dude.
But then,
so just kill him. And I was like, okay, I can see that.
Then he went into that valley.
Yeah, that's a bit overboard. So it's like, okay, so now he's wrecking everybody, because not all those statues really looked that old.
No. And those two kids who were chasing their parents, it's like, hey, it's like, what's going to happen when those kids wake up and he tells them, I killed your parents. What do you think those kids are going to want to do to him?
Yep.
Eventually, they're going to want to kill him. Now, he may, form a great lie and just be like, they were swept away. I wasn't able to find your parents. And, it's just...
That's the one equation that he can't understand. Human.
Yeah.
Well,
you're gonna have eventually people figure it out, even if he makes a great lie like that, because people are gonna put two and two together and be like, it's really weird that all of the adult statues just miraculously disappeared, and there's not a single one of them here, but all of us people below the age of 20 are still here right now. It's a little odd, don't you think? Almost wonder if this guy kind of shattered all the adults before he started bringing us back.
I wonder if he came across a little person who looked like a kid, and right when they get revived, they're just like, oh God, thank you for bringing me back. And he's like, wait a second, how old are you? I'm 35. Oh. And then she's like, 13. I was just like, did you read about that story about that married couple who thought they were adopting a 14-year-old, a 13 or 14-year-old girl? Turns out it was a 43-year-old woman.
Oh man, how do you adopt a 43-year-old woman?
Because they're a little person that is passing for a child.
Yeah, but how do they legally check in?
Dude, people lie all the time. They birth certificate. They lie about their birth certificate getting lost and say, I need a new one. Okay, fill out your information here.
Or just never tell them your real name.
Well, and then there's also states don't follow through on certain forms of paperwork. It's just Illinois and New York, people pretty much can make up their own birth certificate and live as a phantom, a figment of their imagination, until they get caught. And then when they get caught, they get identity. They call it not identity theft, because theft is when you take it from someone else.
It's probably identity falsification.
Yeah, falsification of identity. I think that's what they call it.
Sounds like something you get deported for, but there's nowhere to deport you to.
No, instead they just send you to jail.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
They do their damnedest to find out who you are, and if you don't tell them who you are, then it's like, okay, you're John Doe.
So they run your fingerprints.
Well, even with fingerprints, not everyone's in the fingerprint database.
Yeah, no.
No, I mean...
I am, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, you were in the military, so...
Not just that, I got my concealed carry permits and stuff, and class 2 permits. So.
Well, yeah, in which that's a proper way to keep tabs on people with deadly weapons and all that. But it's a whole there's so many potential queries and quandaries that can be drawn from this show, and I love that. I love that it's making me think about this shit.
This does make you think.
Yeah, it's making me think about shit.
So why hasn't he confessed his love for her yet? That's the real question.
I don't know. I think maybe he was about to, but then Seiko was just like, we gotta go right now. Also the whole thing about her in that outfit and everything. I'm surprised she wasn't just oh God, why are there so many rocks in my shirt?
Yeah, I know, because it didn't fall out
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't like that.
I was halfway figuring there was going to be a whole joke about her being like, what the hell am I wearing? I would never wear something like this. It's just one of those outfits that's all just tied down the side where you can basically see the whole form of her body down her sides.
This is true. This is very true.
That's sexy ass outfit style for ladies.
Yes, it is.
It's got a good art. This show has a good art direction.
Oh yeah,
I like the art direction.
Love the
so
art
far.
direction.
I like him, his hair, the way their cracks are on their face. It looks cool.
Yeah, I think so. I think it looks really cool. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna end it here. This was episode 3 of Dr. Stone. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully if you're watching this on Patreon, we greatly appreciate the support. And if you want to see the full version, then if you're on our Patreon, you're probably seeing it right now. But if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, if you want to see the full version, links in the description down below to our Patreon. And I guess until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all in the next one, everybody. Peace out.